It's Killer7 on the GameCube. So this game is done by Killer7, who I kind of consider to be the Quentin Tarantino of video games. And this is considered to be his breakout game because it was his first game outside of Japan, and it's considered to be one of the first examples of games as an art form, really. You play as this old wheelchair-bound guy named Harmon, and he has 7 different split personalities. Each one of them is a deranged killer, and they are like a hit squad called the Killer7, and they have to assassinate targets for the government. That's the background of the game. We're already off to a crazy start. I will say this though, Killer7 is the strangest game I have ever played. Not only in terms of its visuals, which are crazy, but also its gameplay. It's an adventure game where you gather items from like solving puzzles to open up new parts and make progress. Kind of like Resident Evil, but everything is on rails. You just select a direction and just kind of like auto run to the next point. And along the way, you hear laughing, which means enemies are nearby. You then go into like a first-person view and you have to try to shoot them down. In a way, the combat reminds me of Fatal Frame, if you've ever played that series before. As you kill the enemies, you gather blood and you use it to like level up your 7 different characters, which all have different strengths and weaknesses and gameplay styles. But you'll need to use all 7 of them to solve the puzzles and get through the game. So you can't just rely on one the whole time, like I tried to do at the beginning. The game's visuals are amazing. They have this like neat cel-shaded look that really holds up. I mean, this game's like over, or close to, is it over 20 years old now? Maybe? It looks really great and holds up well. The art style is fantastic and, like I said, very unique, and the sound design and music are incredible. The whole like unique playstyle and the atmosphere is really freaking awesome once you get used to it, which does take a little while, by the way. The first stage or two might take you a little bit. Some of the clues are kind of like esoteric to progress the game. If you have to look up a walkthrough here and there, I wouldn't fault you, I definitely did. A lot of people online are saying that you need to do that, but overall the game gives you a good sense of direction of what you need to do next once you kind of figure out its quote-unquote language. The whole story has this moral quandary about whether it's better to be loyal to your country or to do what's right. And the game is really focusing on that concept in terms of its narrative. As crazy as the narrative is and all over the place and nonsensical, I mean, you basically are playing as like a schizophrenic the whole time, right? With split personalities. But I thought that was a really good idea for a game. A couple of the low points of this whole experience are that like every boss fight feels like it has like some sort of puzzle gimmick to beat it. And that's fine here and there, but it's pretty much all of them here. There's no like just shoot the enemy till they die. There's something to it every time that you have to figure out. And sometimes it's just more of a like a cutscene you watch and you just press one button, you know? That sort of thing. It's about the experience rather than the gameplay for the boss fights, I would say. Also, the game starts getting a little tedious, especially for like the last third of the game, where the areas start getting very large and maze-like. There's tons of puzzles and things like that, and these choke points that feel like they want you to kill a million enemies every time you pass back through the area. That can be okay, it can also be very tiring. Not too much bad to say about this game, but those parts did wear on me a good bit. My final thoughts about this are that, I just love the atmosphere and the writing and the setting of this game. It's always super interesting, and the unique gameplay and the characters really set it apart. The story, on the other hand, is more like allegorical or dreamlike and obtuse than I would normally like, and I wish it had gone further into the characters and their history instead of just kind of like painting this blurry metaphorical narrative. I don't know any other way to say it than that. You just kind of get like an overall impression of what's going on with the story rather than like really fully understanding the story. And I think that's what Killer7 was going for. So how was Killer7? It was an amazing experience. I think it's the best of all the Killer7 games I've ever played, and I've played a fair number of them. I would give Killer7 on the GameCube like an 8 out of 10. It's great, and I think you should play it if you're a fan of like art as a video game or just unique experiences. You can't go wrong with this, and it is weird. Let me tell you, it is weird.